Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Spirituality Show, a show dedicated to opening minds and expanding lives. My name's Sarah Watkins. I'm the mother of three, owner of Spiritual Events and Directory, which is the #1 spiritual directory in Australia, founder of Pop-Up Psychics and Healers, which is an online bookings platform for psychics and healers, and TV host and producer of the Spirituality Show. Today, I have the pleasure of chatting with Adrian Hanks. Adrian is a life mastery expert with lots of skills, experience, knowledge, wisdom, and insight in the personal and spiritual development fields, which he has been working in for over 25 years. Hey, Adrian, thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, hi Sarah. It's so great to be on here. I'm really, really excited. I've been excited for the last couple of weeks, just waiting for this. So really looking forward to having a fantastic discussion with you today.
Awesome. So we've known each other for quite a few years, just to get the background of you and I. So I've asked you to become the second guest on the Spirituality Show. So thank you so much for saying yes to that.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. So just so everyone can get a bit of an idea of who you are, can you tell us who you are?
Yeah, look, it's always an interesting one of sharing one's biography, but probably first and foremost is I am a father of 6 children from a blended family. My eldest is 31 and my youngest is 18. So, yeah, that was interesting. I had 4 from my first relationship, and then my wife, Arlene, brought 2 children into the mix. So we have the 6 children. We have 4 granddaughters, and I have 2 beautiful goddaughters who are teenagers too. So that sort of takes care of the family side of things.
Yeah.
And currently living in Sydney,
yeah.
And we'll be moving back to Byron region pretty soon, because that's pretty much my community. So we've been on a journey for the last 5 years, just traveling around with my youngest daughter being a dancer. So we've been bringing her through a dance career, and now that's coming to an end. She's leaving home, and after 31 years of home parenting, we'll be child-free as of in about 6 weeks' time. So exciting times for me about moving on and doing some different things without that the child focus in the house.
Yeah.
And which will give me more time to do what I love doing, Sarah, and that's writing, teaching, and traveling. They're my sort of 3 core values of what I love to do. I love to teach, I love to be facilitating and running my programs. Love writing. I've got a couple of published books, and I've just written my first novel that will be published in 2020. And then, of course, my traveling. I love to travel around Europe. I go to Africa every couple of years and take a small group of people to Africa on a 21-day journey. And so, yeah, I'm, I suppose, in my beingness, I'm pretty eclectic. I love being out there. I love to be doing my community work, my connection to people. And in essence, I love living life. I just love living life to the full, and wake up every morning in a joyous space and try to hold that joyous space every day for myself. I think it's an important thing to do in our lives, and certainly really try to bring that into my own life every day.
Yeah. And I know that from knowing you that you do that. So that's amazing. Now, can you share with us how your spiritual journey began?
Wow. Yeah. Look, if I think back to it, my first ever spiritual experience that's quite conscious for me is when I was about 9 or 10 years old. And I was in a little primary school in the West Country in England. And I remember I was walking home from school one afternoon, probably 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I had to walk past this old area that subsequently I found out was an old church. And it had been demolished by Cromwell's army and all that time, way back several hundred years. And I remember walking past it and looking across and seeing this, what then was a ghost to me. And I went back to school the next morning, and I had a really good connection with my headmaster. His name's Mr. Gingell. He's passed over now, but he and I had this really special link. He was I suppose, my first ever spiritual teacher. Yeah. And I shared the experience with him, and rather than poo-pooing it, he said to me, look, it was probably a spirit from St. Mary's Church that was demolished in this time, and he gave me the history. And it was my first sort of acknowledgement from an adult that what I was seeing was real, and it cemented my belief in the spiritual world. And yeah, that was the age of probably 9 or 10 years old. Wow. And I remember it vividly, of this spirit just walking across this paddock where this church used to be. So that was a really powerful experience for me, and the fact that it wasn't poo-pooed and it was taken seriously I think really helped me on my journey.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that was the sort of childhood experience. And then I hit 12, 13 and went off the rails, you know, for about a decade with my sort of drug journey, and went down that road.
Yeah.
And then in my mid-20s, left Europe, left Berlin, came to Tasmania, had my first child there, and really got into a bit more of a deeper space in my spiritual world, got into organic food and meditation. And then at the age of 28, 29 is when I met my spiritual teacher, Rudolf Steiner. My child was in kindy at a Steiner school, and I went to a lecture on biodynamic agriculture and just got connected to the world of Steiner. And that was 25 years ago. And my whole journey of the last 25 years is very much around anthroposophy and Rudolf Steiner's teachings.
Yeah.
And it's with me every day. It's in my social life, my family life, my psychotherapeutic life, my personal life. It is my pathway of spirituality.
Yeah.
So I'm so pleased to have something to follow every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I love Steiner. As we've had that conversation before, I'd love to get my kids into Steiner. So
Yeah,
that's my sign from you
yeah,
to do that.
yeah, yeah. So it's been a very interesting spiritual journey over the last, 25, 35, well, actually probably 40 years if I think back to when I was 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big part of my world, big part of my daily life.
Yeah. Well, I know that. And that's what the next question is about, life mastery, because I know that that's your thing. So
Yeah.
how can we bring more, like the audience, how can we bring more life mastery into our lives?
Yeah, look, there are several key things for me.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's about finding a clear routine, a clear rhythm to set up during the day so that the practices I put into place are there for me every day. Because as we know, the spiritual journey is a really tough journey. We get challenged every day, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, around that journey.
Yeah.
People we meet, experiences we have. So for me, it's about doing something daily. It's not about just doing it once a week or once a month or going on a retreat once a year. It's about daily practice for me. It's about putting my meditation into practice, putting my physical work into practice. So I go to the gym every morning, doing my mental study, so finding some book to study or some course to study. And then, of course, doing the emotional work, which is a challenging aspect of looking at my reactions, my projections, my judgments, my fears, my doubts every single day.
Yeah.
And just bringing that into the mix. So I spend time every morning for a couple of hours setting myself up for the day. And then, of course, doing this continual process all day long when I'm challenged by something, of asking myself, where am I right now in my life, in my physical, emotional, mental, spiritual state? And if I'm feeling out of alignment, bringing myself back.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a challenging journey. It's a big initiation doing the spiritual work. And sometimes it's really hard work. So,
I agree.
Yeah, so some of those key things are having the resources in place. So I have a few key resources where I have what I call my power name, my power words, my power stance. So I have effective tools and resources that I can bring in when I'm feeling challenged, when I'm feeling off track.
Yeah.
So for me, having those spiritual tools is really important. And I think for me, that life mastery has to be all aspects. So the analogy I use is it's like driving through life in a vehicle with four wheels, the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. And if one of them isn't in vibrational level with the others, it's a bit of a bumpy ride. Yeah. So we have to have the same pressure in each, the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual, so that we have a smooth ride. Yeah. So it's a daily practice of bringing that life mastery into all those four aspects, but I also take it into another 6 or 8 aspects as well. Yeah. The sexual, the intimate, the creative, the social, the financial, etc. Yeah. So it's about bringing that into the mix to bring that life mastery in. And it's a challenge to be in that life mastery space a lot. Yeah. So having some resources to do that, and one of them I use is a journal I've designed, where every night for 15 minutes I fill out my journal and I self-evaluate what I've done during the day. Yeah. And I think that's an important part of the life mastery process, is that continual self-evaluation. Yeah. To let ourselves know where we're at in life.
Yeah, exactly.
And to be honest around it too, you know, giving ourselves that 70, 60, 70, 80 or 90% or whatever we do the score ratio in, but being a bit honest about it and seeing where we're not playing life and where we are playing life. So I like to aim for that sort of what I call that way beyond the 80-20 principle into the 90-10 or above. You know, I've been doing this a long time, so I've given myself a bit of a bar to play at. But I think the whole life mastery is about getting beyond that 80-20 principle.
Yeah.
So we really truly are living life to the full.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
when I work with people, that's the aim.
Yeah.
And that's really important.
Yeah, I agree. So Adrian, why are you sharing this information? So why have you come on today, said, yep, I will do this with you, Sarah? What is it that you want to hear? Why are you sharing it?
Oh, look, I love helping people to move beyond. I love people to get on track and stay on track. I think I've been working with this for a while, so we're trying to find a name for what I do. And we have things like, you know, it's my purpose, it's my life purpose, it's my mission, it's my vision, all those things. What I've come to in my own being, it's actually my spiritual duty. I feel like I have a duty to bring my skills to the planet, to have a healthier planet. And the way we're going to get a healthier planet is to help people raise their consciousness. And when we bring in that life mastery work, of course, it helps people to raise their vibration, raise their consciousness. And the upside of that is we work better as a better spiritual community, and collectively we can help to change the planet because it certainly needs some support. For me, it's about the people, for the people, but it's also about the planetary work I'm bringing. And in what I've learned from my counseling and coaching and psychotherapy skills, to help people to raise to that level is just a beautiful thing. And the people I've worked with over the years, and I see the changes in people, I get an absolute thrill from that. Obviously, I get paid for my work, but the biggest payment for me is the fact that we're actually moving towards a more conscious community and a more conscious planet. So that's the essence of why I do what I do. I love doing what I do every day.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Adrian, how can people learn more? So if they want to do some work with you?
Yeah, look, the best thing to do is to phone me and have a conversation. That's always the first thing. So, let's get personal. So, give me a call. Go to my website, adrianhanks.com, and there's a lot of information in there. You can see the programs I run, particularly the life mastery programs. I also offer counseling and psychotherapy and mentoring. But I love to have the conversation, 15 or 20-minute conversation to ascertain where people are right now in their lives. And then from that, we can evaluate what do they actually need. Do they need a 3-month program? Do they need some one-on-one work? Do they need to come and spend, 3 weeks in South Africa and Africa with me? So there's many things I offer, and it's different for different people. And for me, there's no one set recipe. It's about ascertaining what people need, depending on where they are in their life right now. Go to that website, adrianhanks.com, and then contact me from there. Give me a call and have the conversation. I think that's the most important part, because then we can have that private understanding of what people need, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, or some other aspect.
No worries. Well, I'll have your links all in here anyway for people to find you.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And Adrian, have you got any gold nuggets to share with our audience that they can implement today?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I've got a couple, Sarah, that I think are the key to my work. And I know if people put these into place and they use them, they're life-changing. And the first one I'd like to share is what I call the where am I right now process. And that is a matter of getting your mobile phone, setting the alarm to go off from, say, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on the hour every hour. And when you hear that beep, beep, you ask yourself, where am I right now, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually? And if you're not in at least an 80-20 principle in that moment, if you're not in that physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual space, in that moment, you can make a choice to, well, I say, put on the Superman cape, pull on the Superman shorts, jump into that space consciously and choose to be there. And it's a really profound exercise. And if you do it for people do it for 7 days, it's life-changing, because what it means is for at least a minute in the hour every hour for about 10 hours or 12 hours, you're going to be fully conscious. And for some people, that's new. To be fully conscious for like a minute or two while you ask yourself the question, and then choosing to be there. And then what happens is people go, well, this is a good space. I like being here. I like being in this space. You know, I can bring myself into that space at random when I choose to. And then after a while, you set it up in the subconscious mind and it just becomes normal where the alarm goes off subconsciously.
Yeah.
And then one can say to oneself, oh, where am I right now? Choose to be in that space. That's one. Yeah. The other one I love to share is find your power name or your power words.
Yeah.
Like give yourself a fun nickname.
Yeah.
Because when we choose to say, like for me, it's Grandmaster Adrian.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oftentimes it's a challenge to put ourselves on that, you know, pedestal to say, I am more than.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge to say, well, I'm Grandmaster Adrian, and that's my, what I call my future potential self. Yeah. And when I'm feeling out of sorts, I choose to be him. I say, my name is Grandmaster Adrian. Yeah. And I am, if I can read it here, I am abundant, clear, and inspirational. They're my power words. I've got them written on my shelf.
Yeah.
And then I stand in that energy. Yeah. In what I call that power stance. And it's a reminder of who I truly am.
Yeah.
And anytime we're feeling triggered, anytime we're feeling out of sorts, you know, and every time we hear that beep beep on the hour, we can choose to stand in the power name, the power words, and the power stance, and be conscious. And those tools alone are life-changing. They're really powerful. I've been using them now for 15 years, and I still use them. I don't not use them. I think every day, at least twice, I bring myself in, because I go off track too, you know, by the way. It happens. Yeah. And I just have the tools to bring myself back a little bit quicker than I used to now because I have the tools.
Yeah, exactly.
So for me, they're the key tools that I use and I recommend people use. And then, of course, we find a few more that's a bit more connected for each individual. But generically, those tools are they're life changers.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
Yeah, so go away and, you know, anybody listening in, watching in, just to practice those. Go away and practice for 7 days and then monitor yourself. And the other thing I'd like to share, Sarah, is as a resource to share is on my website in the shop. Yeah. The journal is free as well. You can download the free copy of the journal, and that will help people to stay on board and make that self-evaluation. So that's another key tool I'd like to offer people as well. Yeah.
Alrighty, I'll definitely put the link to that one.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so Adrian, how are you going to serve in 2019?
Wow, good question. Look, there's a few things. I'm re-evaluating my own life to serve myself first. I think is the first thing we have to serve ourselves, because the more clear I am and more conscious I am in my world, the better I am for other people. So I'm setting up my 2019 to be a little bit more online and do a little bit more group work and a little bit less one-on-one. Yeah. Setting myself to do a little bit more writing and publish a couple of my books. I'm traveling again next year. I'm going to Africa in August. Yeah. With is a bit of a plug, with a small group of people, 8 people, who want to come to South Africa, Botswana, Namibia for 21 days. So that's a big one I'm working on right now. Yeah. And also, the other thing I'm working on is some investment process that I'm working with as well for myself. I want to get myself financially, really in my financial command over the next couple of years, so that I can travel, I can teach, and I can write without really having to see clients unless I really want to. Yeah. So for me, the financial future is really important to me. So 2019 is my financial focus in a big way, and that's exciting. I really want to break through on another financial level, and I'm doing a few courses at the moment, a few programs at the moment to help me to do that, because one of my wheels that I would say that needs pumping up a little bit is, you know, to get into that more millionaire mindset, and that's exactly where I'm heading. So 2019 is exciting. Got my vision board, got my 2019-2020 visions all written. Yeah. And I'm really excited about what's going to happen in 2019-2020.
Awesome.
Really excited.
Can you just share a little? I'm just going to put you on the spot because you don't even know I'm going to talk about this, but I think it might be a really good opportunity, because I've seen you posting about that. The thing that you're involved in at the moment, which is Skyway. Skyway. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I'm actually interested in knowing more. So I think this is a really great opportunity if you're comfortable and want to share it. Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to share it because from my perspective, what I've learned, and I'll share how I've learned that in a moment, is this is a financial opportunity for my family, for my friends to get on board now, because what the company is offering, and the company is called Skyway Invest Group. So we're a crowdfunding investment group where we crowdfund collectively to help transport projects and other projects across the planet with a company called Skyway. And I went to Belarus, which is in Europe. It used to be connected to the USSR, to Russia. They're now an independent country. And that's where Skyway technology is. They've got an eco park there. It's where they have a factory. It's where they build the train compartment, if you like. And it's a really amazing new system of transport that goes in the sky. Basically, it goes on new string technology rails. So it's not on flat rails on the ground. It can go over any terrain. It's cheaper to produce, environmentally friendly, sustainable. And I was there for 10 days in August because, it was another scheme. It was another, financial thing. It was in Europe, Russia sort of terrain. So I thought, well, if I'm going to check this out, I want to check it out for real. So I went for 10 days. I went to the conferences, went to the eco park, heard the people speaking, met Unitsky, who's like the leader. There were like 8,000 people there. The conferences, a few thousand. And it was real. For me, I was there. I invested. I'm an investor. I'm a partner in the company. And I think people talk about Elon Musk and they talk about Richard Branson. They've got their super loop transport systems. This is a similar sort of concept, except for me, it's cheaper to produce. It's more environmentally friendly, which is what I love doing. And what happens is we become a partner in the company that has what they call IPO. So they're what happens is before something hits the stock market, they offer you can buy the IPOs that go out before it gets put on the stock market. So what the company do, they sell an education package, because in Australia you cannot sell the initial public offerings. It's illegal. So what they do, they sell an education package, and with that they gift people IPO shares. So for instance, if you put in $1,000, I think you get about 80,000 IPO shares. And currently they've been valued at $1 each. And Unitsky has said that when they hit the stock market in a year or 2 or 3 years time, it's like short term, it's not long term. They won't be released unless they're a minimum of $1 value.
Oh wow! And
so
so
if you
for
put
1,000, you get 80,000. So you got 80,000.
You get 80,000. Current. What's happening with Skyway, just as a heads up, and I'll give people the link in a moment. Is on the 13th of December, we moved from what we're calling stage 12 to stage 13. And when they set this company up, they did 15 stages, and each one had to have a certain financial perspective, a certain acquisition perspective, certain technology perspective. And when they reached those goals in each stage, they moved the stage. And what happened last year, they went from stage 10 to 12. They actually skipped stage 11 because they were so far ahead in their projections, they could skip. But what's happened now is we're ready to step into phase 13, stage 13, on the 13th of December. But what happens at each stage, those initial public offerings get less per dollar. So they're probably going to reduce by, say, 20% or maybe 25% in 3 weeks' time. So if anybody's really serious about investing in those education packages, I've got to be careful on the language, investing in the education package to receive those IPOs, I would suggest do it, as my daughter says, ASAP, as soon as possible. ASAP, new language. Do it ASAP, do it as soon as possible, because if you don't do it in the next few weeks, you're still going to get good bang for your buck, but a bit less. So the company is a crowdfunding invest company. Easy to get on board. It's free to sign up, and then you can invest anything from 10. The units are in US dollars, so you can buy 10 units, 100 units, 1,000. If you want to get into the company and run it a little bit like a multi-level marketing company, same thing. When people sign up underneath me, of course, I get a bit of a percentage. I get a cut. So it encourages people to sign. So if people want to set this up as a business and get people underneath them, like doTERRA or any of those other companies, or Tupperware or whatever people get into, this is a unique opportunity to actually make some money, and you can either withdraw the money or you can just simply put it back into your IPOs.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So people can sign in and log in for, $10 or, I think at 20,000 US at the moment. If people have got like 20,000 US, which is about 28,000 Aussie dollars to invest for 2, 3, or 4 years, the return on that is 1.3 million US dollars.
Wow.
So like the opportunity is absolutely ripe. And I know when Elon Musk first did his IPOs, several years ago, and people bought in, his initial public offerings went for $7 a share. And people were, they were buying in, not quite as good as rate as Skyway, but they were pretty good. So people were making a lot of money by taking that, if you like, that initial risk, to capitalize. Yeah. But the beautiful thing about Skyway, just to finish here, Sarah, is what's happened in the last few weeks, actually last week, we got confirmation, and people go to the website, skywaycommunity.com, which is my Skyway community website, to skywaycommunity.com. There's a video on there of Unitsky in the United Arab Emirates, because we've just started our first big project there. Yeah. United Arab Emirates, they gave Skyway a big block of land, and there's going to be some technology things happening on their buildings and tests and different things, which is worth millions and millions and millions of dollars, and that's happening as I'm speaking. Really exciting. First big project outside of Belarus, and then they've got memorandums of understanding to go to India and many other countries across the planet too. So a global company, get on board, people. Seriously, get your financial future organized. Just put $1,000. You imagine in 3 or 4 years' time having $80,000 or $85,000 in your bank, or put in 20 grand, US, and have your 1.3 million US dollars, which is going to set you up for mortgage free forever.
Yeah.
So seriously, have a conversation with me. Give me a call if you want to know more information. Yeah. I've got a few different things. I've got we've even got Skyway books, so it is real.
Yeah.
There's a million websites and Facebook groups, and currently there's over 1 million partners. Wow. To give you an idea globally. So it's real. It's out there. Yeah, it's worth trillions of dollars of value already in the company. So anyway, thank you for the question, because it's a good opportunity to support people in our community, Sarah, to get on board and just support themselves financially. So if you're traveling through life, one of those wheels is not balanced and it's the finance one, this is a good opportunity to add some air pressure into that that finance tire, and that's exactly what I'm doing in my life right now with Skyway. So exactly. And I'm excited about it. I went to Belarus and actually rode on one of the transport systems, and it was so exciting. If you see the videos, go to the skywaycommunity.com and have a look at the videos. It's like the Jetsons, it's like so futuristic in what they're trying to create. It's the new future for transport for me. It's really exciting.
Awesome. I did actually have a little look, so that's why I thought I'll ask you the question, because I'm like, I'm not too sure what it's about, but I did have a look when I saw you posting about it. So I think we all should get on board, because you've told us for a reason, and we've got like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah. So if you go into that website, skywaycommunity.com, and push join, that'll go through my link. Yeah. You'll be in my team, and I can support you. We've got a private Facebook group for every second Thursday night. We do Q&As and we support. I've got a good support network through my team as well, and we can help anybody anytime. But it's free to sign up, to get in the back office and read all the information. Yeah. And then, of course, it's just a case of getting the old bit of plastic out, or doing a bank transfer, and getting your shares, or getting your IPOs, your education package. Yeah. Got to be careful. And sign up and get it done. But seriously, do it today. Do it right now, because this is an opportunity of a lifetime, I believe. And come and get on board the choo-choo train with us.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Adrian.
It's been a pleasure, Sarah. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. And blessings to everybody listening and watching in. And you have an amazing time wherever you are right now on the planet.
Thanks, Adrian. Bye.
See you.